Who's the man with the pugilistic plan? Steve Swift. Yes, 'tis me. And usually, I will be having that a little, and others actually, but that little pre-credit sequence. What do you call it? A theme tune. See, the theme tune. This week, though, because the law, and it will be back on the law, this will be back on the law, is taking a little break of a few weeks, and they asked me if I would keep this going on my own podcast, Steve Swift's Rambling Reviews, and it was Uncle Brady, who asked me to do that, and I said I would. Of course, it won't be as well designed as the Law Lads live audio wrestling, but it's here, spit and sawdust. It's the boxing of boxing, folks. This week, I don't agree with the result. I don't think the result was fair. I feel it's sickening. Dimitri lost. I've got a rash that won't clear up. No, not that last one. This is about Bivol versus Beterbiev or Beterbiev. All depends where you are in the hemispheres. I mean, what a match. First of all, before we get to the I'm outraged, how dare they? I mean, there was some reason for that outrage, actually. I mean, there's all pearl clutching going on, but that's what we like, isn't it, in boxing? Because that's the business of boxing. Impinging on the boxing of boxing. Look at my tash. It curls more on one side than the other. I've got the tash wax. And yet, and my barber's taken a little bit of heft out of this, but I need to just get that done a little bit. Look at that. It's leaning in a little. Oh, that's going to capture the soup and pasta bake and sandwiches and all of that. So this one curls very nicely. This one doesn't curl as well. Strange, isn't it? A bit weird. I'll tell you what does curl well, though. Yes, the harm. Now, back to Beterbiev. I'm going to call him Beterbiev. Versus Dimitri Bivol, who's a boxer I revere. And Beterbiev as well is a boxer I also like very much indeed. Yes, it was a great boxing fight. And it's a shame in a way that not a shame in a way, it's a great shame that the cards went that way, because it was brilliant. It was a brilliant fight. And what Beterbiev generally does is he's not always a strong starter, let's say that, but his incremental work, heavy hands, and as the commentary team was saying, he can knock you out in the first round, he can knock you out in the last round. His heavy hands generally work on an opponent so that by the middle and later rounds, they've got nothing left. And then it's easy to dispatch them, isn't it? Or easier to create some kind of daylight between the judges' scores, he said, pointing his beard, making it into a pointeristic pattern. Yeah, that didn't happen with Bivol, because Bivol was still there. Bivol, oh. That's Lido, isn't it? Boss Gags. Dimitri Bivol is a great boxer, and some would say that he was robbed last weekend. Bivol, oh, was he robbed? He was on one scorecard. I can say that's what I'm going to say anyway. Bivol. It didn't happen with Bivol, and I can't think of a song for Beterbiev, to be honest. But maybe somebody can and can tell me. I'm sure they've got better ways to spend their time. So the thing is that Bivol wasn't in that situation. So, I mean, Bivol started with a bit more jabbing, and Beterbiev was waiting to look for, and was happy to wait to look for those those opportunities. I've got some notes down here, so you'll be seeing me doing this. And I know that he forced Bivol back in the fourth, and then Bivol appeared to be bothered by Beterbiev's body and headshots. He did look busier. Sometimes that's what the judges want. Bivol got some counters in, though, and Beterbiev did seem by the midpoint to the sixth round in this 12-rounder that he was walking him down, and it did look as though he had more intent. Bivol had to hit on the counter, and the thing is, Bivol has great boxing skills, not as heavy-handed, but his movement is superb. And the Beterbiev, after the seventh round, when a Bivol left hand hurt Beterbiev, but Beterbiev came back, got a good chin. His corner wanted him to hit to the body more. And then in the eighth round, Bivol was kind of stepping it up a bit. He was getting shots in and then stepping away. And Bivol was staggered in that round by a Beterbiev punch, but he got his own in as well. And then at the end of the round, he came in with the right flurry. And that is eye-catching for the judges, isn't it? I have to say that round 9, and the commentary team said, judges don't like to give 10-10 rounds, but you know what? They probably have to in this, for a couple of rounds in this fight. I think that you couldn't give 10-10 to round 9. It's one of the best rounds I have seen in recent years, and it was all Dmitry Bivol. In and out, so fast. Punches coming from where Beterbiev didn't see them. Went to the body, went to the head and body. Lovely left hook. Beterbiev keeps coming, but Bivol's so good in this round. He looked completely prescient in that round. And he dug those punches in by the 10th. He was suddenly, by that 10th round, finding a bit of space. Beterbiev wasn't coming on so much. And he did hammer at least, a few punches in. But then the 11th, they fought through in the 12th. It was very close, and close in most of these rounds, to be honest. But in the 11th, Bivol looked a bit tired and flat-footed. And he was a little slower. And Beterbiev noticed that, noted it, it seems, came on a bit stronger. However, I mean, it was a close fight, and you could have given it to either fighter. And one judge gave it to Beterbiev by 1 round. One judge gave it to Bivol by 1 round. But how do you find 4 rounds, or was it 3? Either way, how do you find those rounds for Beterbiev? It was 112, 116, wasn't it? I mean, really, how do you find those rounds? I don't understand how there is clear daylight in that way. And I can understand why people are saying, I'm outraged, how dare you? But that's what happens in boxing, isn't it? Sometimes the boxing of boxing becomes the business of boxing. Let's just say it was a great, great fight, and they must fight again. Because it was close and very important to have another fight, to have another go, to match themselves, because that's the thing. They were equally matched, but in different ways. That's beautiful with boxing. And they both left nothing in the ring. They both were incredibly talented and rose to their challenges in different ways, and they meshed beautifully. It was quite an outrage, the scorecard. I would have preferred a majority draw, even though the fans probably would have, boo, boo. They would have done that, but I think about me throat doing that. Boo, boo, boo. Anyway, I've got fat tongue syndrome. Anyway, it was a great fight. They must fight again. It was certainly better on the same card than Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron. Now, Ben Whittaker last time out, I thought He looked fantastic. He looked imperious. And he was in and out beautifully. His movement was great. Made his opponent look completely flat-footed. And there was talk of Nassim Hamed. And there now will be no more talk about him being like Nassim Hamed, because fighting what somebody called a journeyman, no, not a journeyman, Liam Cameron, not a journeyman, somebody who could actually make Ben Whittaker think about the punches he is shipping. He went out for that, and he actually got those punches through. You know why? He understood what Ben Whittaker's tell was, which was that he leans to the right. You'll be seeing it on the left of the screen, I believe. But he leans to the right, which means that if he leans to the right, then Cameron needs to smack that right hand in. Smack the right hand in. Smack it in. And he did. And he made Whittaker look tentative and flat-footed. It wasn't looking great. And then in that fifth round, Whittaker was on the ropes, leaned back. I don't know. I thought that they both went over as a freak accident, and must get some moisturiser on my nose. It's a little bit harsh. Feels a bit harsh. It looks harsh, but there you go. That's boxing for you, folks. Oh yeah, that's what I can say. Anyway, I thought they both went over as a freak accident. What people are saying is, some people are saying that Whittaker appeared to grab hold of him and lean back and pull them both over. They both landed on the apron. Whittaker landed worse than Cameron, it seems. He was in a wheelchair and couldn't be at the result, which was a draw. I don't know how that's a draw. I didn't give one round to Whittaker. Judges' scorecards, a draw. I don't think Whittaker won a round, did he? But some people are saying he grabbed Cameron and pulled back and did it himself, and he might be being investigated for this. It's very young in your career. I mean, if that's the case, it's probably the hubris, the Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. Is it Schadenfreude? Schadenfreude, isn't it? Of, well, I might be beaten here. It looks like I might be beaten. I better do something about it. I don't know. It didn't look like that to me, but the business of boxing affected the boxing of boxing. And what people seem to forget is that Liam Cameron came to fight, came to win, and put in a bloody good shift. And so did Beterbiev, and so did Bivol. It's great boxing. It's the boxing of boxing, overshadowed by the business of boxing. Well, that's the reason why I do these columns, folks, because the business of boxing will be later on in the week, and there's loads of it. But the boxing of boxing, unfortunately, it can't stand alone. And that is the real issue. Ta-ta.